I'm going to show you a couple of things that you can do with the HTML text styler visual for Power BI. This is not a how-to video, so there's no technical stuff involved. If you want to learn how this was built, you need to head over to the knowledge base or to the other videos on the YouTube channel. I'm just going to show you the final report. Let's take a look. So on this report, most of the elements that were used were, or most of the elements you can see were built with the HTML text styler visual. So as you can see on top, we have a moving text which has a picture embedded. Then we also have more text with embedded pictures and different formatting. And then we have some text including hyperlinks. One of them is to the knowledge base. This is also where you can download sample reports, and if you have questions about how this all was built, this is a good resource to go to. And of course also the FAQ page where there is answers to the most frequently asked questions. And then we'll start. Let's look at the first topic, which is tables and dynamic text. So what you can do with the HTML text styler is you can create DAX measures which dynamically show a result, and by adding a little bit of HTML to it, you can also dynamically format this text. So we have created here a little table which displays the country. You can see the country is in bold, and then we have a variance. Now we calculate the variance between actuals and budget, and then we show a little triangle indicating whether the result is positive or negative, and added some dynamic or hard-coded text depending on the result. And then of course everything is formatted dynamically, so the user knows exactly, oh, something is red, that means it's a negative variance. Or something is green, of course, then it means something is a positive variance. What we can also do is we can load and embed pictures from an online source. So basically the country flags here are loaded from an online website. And these are just two examples. There's actually many more things you can do. Everything that you could think of in a table can be formatted dynamically. So you could change the line colors, the text, the font size, the borders. Anything that you could really think of in a table can be formatted dynamically. Next topic is KPI Cards, actually one of my favorites. We know the card with the native card visual, the native KPI visual, they're great, and they're, you know, we all use them. And there's also tons of KPI visuals on the marketplace. Sometimes you just want to create your very own visual according to your corporate design rules, according to your personal preference. And all this can be done with the HTML text styler, because it's not only a text styler, it's an anything styler, right? So these KPI cards, which are all dynamic, like here we have dynamic colors, we have a dynamic background color, we have a dynamic border, we have a dark mode one with a black background but a dotted border. These can be created by combining DAX and HTML. And again, here there is absolutely no limit. Whatever you would like to create, you can create it. Next topic is tooltips. Well, of course, the visual doesn't have to be shown on the actual report page, but you can also add it as a report page tooltip. So when the user hovers, you see the result nicely styled, right? And actually, one thing you can also do is you can combine text which is generated using DAX. This is actually what we did here, because the result, the actuals minus budget, this can be calculated. And also the color, green or red, can be done dynamically. But then the reasons why the result is like that can only be entered by the actual person knowing why the result is like that. So you can combine generated text with manually entered text coming from any data source you could think of. Also, there's another example here where we can actually manually change the font size in the tooltip. So you could go and change the font size depending on how much text there is. You just change the size and you can read it in the tooltip. Next, you can now embed videos in your reports. Quite cool, right? There's a few things you need to consider. First of all, videos are not played in Power BI desktop. So you might embed a video and say, oh, it doesn't work. It might work, it just simply doesn't work in Power BI desktop. But once you have published it to Power BI service, the videos will play. If the video still doesn't play in Power BI service, it is due to the fact that the video platform your video is hosted on doesn't support external embedding. So there's nothing you can do about that. There's nothing we can do about that. The best thing to do is to choose a different video platform where you actually host the video, and then it will work. What else? We can add live tickers or moving text, whatever you want to call it. Like here we are loading stock prices from Yahoo Finance, and then just let it scroll over the screen. And of course there's things you can manipulate, the speed of the scrolling, very fast, very slow, and also the direction of it. This is not a thing you would normally add in a slicer on the report. This is just to show that there is settings for that, and you as the user creating the report, you could manually define how the settings should be, or as here, just let the user do it. Then you can also add or embed animated GIFs, so animated GIF files, and also actually this animated GIF shows one thing that I use the HTML text styler a lot for. It's for landing pages. So whenever a user opens up the report, a landing page is a nice thing, a nice page to give like an overview of the business. So, you know, the user knows exactly what to focus on. And this is much easier if you just show the main KPIs nicely formatted, and maybe instead of adding charts, just add text so the user can read, and then also the user knows if something is formatted red, well, this is bad, this is where I need to focus on, and then the user could navigate to the page where a KPI is marked red. What else? There's another sample about text size. So let's select the country here. There's a lot of text, a lot of comments that were entered by a business user, and maybe I have bad eyesight and I actually want to have this bigger. So it's just a nice thing to let the user decide which font size should be displayed. I can have it small, I can have it big, and then of course everything is dynamic. Again, here this text is loaded from an external data source. Actually, it's loaded from SharePoint, and it could also be enhanced with text generated by a DAX measure used in the visual. Then, well, similar to the font size, you can change anything else you want. In this small sample, we just change the background color. This is not really a use case that you will have a lot, but it's just showcasing that anything you could think of can be made dynamic. That's it. What else? Long text. Sometimes you want to have a page which just contains explanations, end user help, documentation, that kind of thing. And with the HTML text styler, you can just add one visual which has text, which has pictures, which has videos, GIFs embedded, a download button. When I click on the button, I actually download the sample report anything you could think of. You can also embed an entire website. It's just so much easier than to have different visuals on top of each other, one showing text, one is then a button, one is a picture, and so on. This is on this screen, this is all one visual. What else can we do? Well, actually there's much more you can do, but it really depends on your creativity, because there's no limit within the visual itself. Whatever you can do with DAX and with HTML, you can do it in the visual. So let's look at what we have in the formatting options, because of course not everything you need to define in HTML. So if you want to change the font size or the font color or the grid color and so on, these things you can also just do in the formatting pane of the visual itself. Okay, so now you get a good overview of some of the things you can do with the HTML text styler. As mentioned, there's much more, and I'd be very happy to see what you are planning to do with the visual. And of course, if something doesn't work out, please just simply check out the knowledge base, check out the FAQ page, look at the downloadable sample reports, or simply just get in touch. I'm always happy to help you out, making your reports even better. Thanks for watching.